Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath. Now, imagine you're sitting by a quiet lake at dawn. The water is still. The world is silent. And suddenly, a thought arrives, gentle but profound. If everything ends, if we all die, why does any of this matter? This isn't a dark thought. It's perhaps the most human question we can ask. And today, I want to share with you how the Buddha answered this very question over 2,500 years ago, an answer so profound, so transformative, that it has guided millions of souls toward a life of deep meaning, purpose, and peace. You see, most of us spend our days running from deadlines, running toward goals, running away from this fundamental truth. But what if I told you that embracing this truth, really embracing it, could be the key to the most meaningful life you've ever lived? Part 1. When Death Becomes Your Greatest Teacher, the Buddhist Art of Impermanence. Let me tell you a story. A young mother once came to the Buddha, cradling her dead child. Her eyes were wild with grief. Her heart was shattered. She had heard the Buddha could perform miracles, and she begged him, pleaded with him, to bring her child back to life. The Buddha looked at her with infinite compassion. He said, "I will help you. But first, bring me a mustard seed from a house that has never known death." The woman's eyes lit up with hope. She ran from house to house, knocking on every door. "Have you a mustard seed?" she would ask. "Yes," they would reply. "But has death ever visited your home?" And each time, the answer was the same. A father lost. A mother gone. A child taken too soon. By sunset, she returned to the Buddha. No mustard seed in hand. But something had changed in her eyes. She understood. Death visits every home. Loss touches every heart. We are all walking the same path. The Buddha didn't teach her to overcome death. He taught her something far more powerful, how to live with the awareness of it. You know what's interesting? When philosophers like Albert Camus wrote about the absurdity of life, when Socrates said, "The unexamined life is not worth living," they were touching the same truth the Buddha discovered under the Bodhi tree. Everything changes. Everything ends. Your morning coffee will grow cold. The flowers in your garden will wilt. The people you love will one day be memories. Even the stars above us are dying, burning out in spectacular cosmic farewells. But here's where Buddhism offers something revolutionary. This isn't a reason for despair. It's a reason for awakening. Think about it. When you know, really know, that this moment won't last forever, doesn't it become infinitely more precious? When you understand that the person sitting across from you at dinner tonight won't always be there, don't you want to put down your phone and really see them? The Japanese have a phrase, mono no aware. The bittersweet awareness of the impermanence of all things. It's why cherry blossoms are so beloved, not despite their brief blooming, but because of it. I want you to think about the last time you got really angry. Maybe someone cut you off in traffic. Maybe a coworker took credit for your idea. Maybe your partner forgot to do something they promised. Now, imagine you knew, truly knew, that you had only 1 year left to live. Would that anger still feel important? Would you spend your precious hours nurturing that resentment? The Buddha called this maranasati, mindfulness of death. Not to make us morbid, but to make us wise. When we remember that our time is limited, the things that usually upset us begin to seem small, trivial. Like arguing over deck chairs on the Titanic. A meditation master once said, Practice as if your hair is on fire. Because in a way, it is. Every second that passes is a second we'll never get back. Every heartbeat brings us closer to our last. But instead of paralysis, this awareness brings freedom. Freedom from petty grudges. Freedom from meaningless pursuits. Freedom to focus on what truly matters: love, compassion, understanding, growth. If you're finding value in this perspective, consider subscribing to Buddha Coha. We explore these profound teachings every week, making ancient wisdom accessible for modern lives. Part 2: The Noble Truth of Suffering, Finding Purpose in Pain. Now, let me share something that might sound strange at first. The Buddha's very first teaching after his enlightenment wasn't about happiness or peace or love. It was about suffering. He said, life contains suffering. In Pali, the word is dukkha. But before you close this video thinking Buddhism is depressing, stay with me. Because understanding suffering is like a doctor understanding disease, it's the first step to healing. The Buddha identified 3 types of suffering. First, there's obvious suffering: pain, illness, aging, death. We all know this one intimately. Second, there's the suffering of change. That perfect moment you want to last forever. It won't. That's suffering too. And third, there's the subtle suffering of existence itself, a deep unsatisfactoriness that pervades life when we're constantly grasping for something more. The Buddha told a parable. He said when we experience pain, it's like being shot with an arrow. It hurts. That's unavoidable. But then, we shoot ourselves with a second arrow, our reaction to the pain. We think, why me? This isn't fair. This shouldn't be happening. The first arrow is pain. The second arrow is suffering. And here's the revolutionary insight: while we can't always avoid the first arrow, the second arrow is optional. I knew a woman who lost her husband to cancer. The first arrow, the loss, was devastating. But she told me something profound. She said, I realized I had a choice. I could let his death make me bitter, or I could let his life make me better. She chose to honor his memory by living with more kindness, more presence, more gratitude. The pain was still there, but she had transformed her suffering into purpose. The Buddha didn't just diagnose the problem. He prescribed a cure. He called it the Noble Eightfold Path. Think of it as a GPS for navigating life's challenges. Right understanding, see reality clearly, without delusion. Right intention, cultivate wholesome motivations. Right speech, speak truthfully and kindly. Right action, act with compassion and integrity. Right livelihood, earn a living without harming others. Right effort, cultivate positive states of mind. Right mindfulness, be present and aware. Right concentration, develop focused meditation. But here's what I love about this path: it's not about perfection. It's about practice. Every day, every moment, we have the opportunity to take one small step in the right direction. In the Mahayana tradition, there's a beautiful concept called the Bodhisattva, someone who vows to help all beings achieve liberation before entering final nirvana themselves. Imagine that. Imagine caring so much about others' suffering that you postpone your own ultimate peace to help them find theirs. There's a story of a bodhisattva who was about to enter nirvana when he heard a cry of pain. He turned back. He chose to stay in the world of suffering to help. And in that choice, that compassionate choice, He found a purpose greater than personal liberation. You don't have to be a Buddhist to understand this. Think about a parent staying up all night with a sick child. Think about a teacher working overtime to help a struggling student. Think about anyone who has ever put another's well-being before their own comfort. In these moments, we transcend our small selves. We touch something infinite. We find meaning not despite suffering, but through our response to it. Part 3, The Sacred in the Ordinary, Finding Enlightenment in Everyday Life. A university professor once visited a Zen master, eager to learn about enlightenment. The master served tea. He poured the visitor's cup full, then kept pouring. The tea overflowed onto the table, onto the floor. "Stop," the professor cried. "The cup is full. No more will go in." The master smiled. "Like this cup, you are full of your own opinions and speculations. How can I show you Zen unless you first empty your cup?" This story reveals something profound. Enlightenment isn't found in some distant monastery or after years of meditation in a cave. It's available right here, right now, in the simple act of drinking tea, if we can just be present enough to taste it. In Theravada Buddhism, there's a beautiful teaching about merit, the positive karma we accumulate through ethical actions. But here's what's remarkable: you don't need to perform grand gestures. Offering food to a monk generates merit. But so does offering a smile to a stranger, feeding a stray cat, helping an elderly person cross the street. Even the intention to do good, when circumstances prevent the action, generates merit. I once met a janitor at a Buddhist temple who told me, "Every time I sweep, I imagine I'm sweeping away the suffering of all beings. Every time I mop, I'm cleaning the path for someone's enlightenment." This man understood something profound. There are no ordinary moments. There are no ordinary lives. Every action, when performed with mindfulness and compassion, becomes sacred. The Mahayana tradition takes this even further. It says that everyone, has Buddha nature. The angry driver who cut you off, Buddha nature. The difficult coworker, Buddha nature. You, the one who is hearing these words. It is Buddha nature. It's like we're all waves on the same ocean, thinking we're separate, not realizing we're all water. There's a saying, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. This sounds violent, but it's actually profound. It means stop looking for enlightenment outside yourself. The Buddha you're seeking, it's been you all along. The great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh taught that enlightenment can be found in a single step. He would say, walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet. Think about that. Every step, a kiss. Every breath, a prayer. Every moment, an opportunity for awakening. He told his students, washing dishes can be just as sacred as meditation. When you wash dishes, just wash dishes. Feel the warm water. See the bubbles. Be present. This is enlightenment. This is why your life matters. Not because you'll achieve some grand destiny, but because every moment, this moment, is an opportunity to wake up. To love. To serve. To be present. Part 4, The Interconnected Web, Why Your Life Ripples Through Eternity. In Buddhist cosmology, there's a beautiful image called Indra's net. Imagine an infinite net stretching in all directions. At each intersection hangs a jewel. And each jewel reflects every other jewel in the net. You are one of those jewels. Every action you take, every word you speak, every thought you think, it all reflects throughout the entire net. You influence everything, and everything influences you. A butterfly flaps its wings in Tokyo, and it rains in New York. You smile at a stranger, and maybe, just maybe, that smile prevents them from giving up. You don't know. You can never fully know the impact of your actions. But they ripple out, endlessly. A monk was walking along a riverbank when he saw a scorpion drowning. He reached in to save it, and the scorpion stung him. His hand swelled, but he reached in again. Another sting. A passerby said, "Are you crazy? It's in the scorpion's nature to sting." The monk smiled through his pain. "And it's in my nature to save." This is the choice we face every day. Will we let the world make us hard? Or will we choose to remain soft, compassionate, even when it hurts? Your life matters because you get to make this choice. Again and again. And each time you choose compassion over cruelty, understanding over judgment, love over fear, you change the world. Maybe in small ways. Maybe in ways you'll never see. But you change it nonetheless. Part 5, The Practice of Presence, Living Fully Before Dying. The Buddha recommended a powerful practice. Imagine this is your last day. Your last hour. Your last breath. How would you spend it? What would suddenly become important? What would fade away? Now, and here's the revolutionary part, live that way. Not frantically, as if racing against time. But fully, as if every moment is both the first and last moment of your life. Because in a way, it is. A tea master was challenged to a duel by a samurai. The tea master had never held a sword, and he knew he would die. He went to a Zen master for advice on how to die with honor. The Zen master said, "Tomorrow, when you face the samurai, hold your sword the way you hold your tea whisk. Face death the way you face a guest at your tea ceremony, with complete presence and acceptance." The next day, the tea master stood before the samurai. He held his sword like a tea whisk. His face was calm, fully present, completely accepting. The samurai, seeing this extraordinary composure, lowered his sword and walked away. When we're fully present, when we accept what is, we become unshakable. Death loses its sting. Life reveals its beauty. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, try something. Make your morning coffee or tea as if it's a sacred ritual. Hear the water boiling. Smell the aroma. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Taste, really taste, that first sip. In that moment, you're not thinking about death. You're not worried about meaning. You're just present. Fully, completely present. And in that presence, you'll find what the Buddha found under the Bodhi tree, that this moment, this ordinary moment, contains everything. If these teachings resonate with you, please subscribe to Buddha Coha. Share this video with someone who might need to hear these words. Your support helps us spread these timeless teachings to those seeking peace in turbulent times. Part 6, The Paradox of Purpose, Finding Meaning by Letting Go. There's an old story that bridges Taoism and Buddhism beautifully. A farmer's horse ran away. The neighbors said, "Such bad luck." The farmer said, "Maybe." The horse returned with wild horses. "Such good luck," the neighbors said. "Maybe," said the farmer. His son broke his leg taming the wild horses. "Such bad luck." "Maybe." War came, and his son couldn't be drafted because of his broken leg. "Such good luck." "Maybe." This farmer understood something profound. We never really know the full significance of any event. What seems meaningless might be preparing us for something essential. What seems essential might be a distraction. So why live? Because even without knowing the ultimate purpose, the living itself has value. The experiencing itself has meaning. The journey itself is the destination. In the Diamond Sutra, the Buddha says something that seems contradictory: all beings I vow to save, yet there are no beings to save. What does this mean? It means that ultimate reality transcends our concepts of purpose and meaninglessness, of life and death, of self and other. And yet, we still vow to save all beings. We still act with compassion. We still live with purpose. This is the ultimate paradox. Nothing matters, and everything matters. Life is meaningless, and infinitely meaningful. We're all going to die, and we're all eternal. Part 7, The Community of Seekers, You're Not Alone. Buddhism offers something called the Triple Gem: the Buddha, the Teacher, the Dharma, the Teaching, and the Sangha, the community. That third one, community, is crucial. You're not walking this path alone. Throughout history, millions have asked the same questions you're asking. Millions have felt the same doubts, the same fears, the same longings. And millions have found peace. When you feel lost, remember, you're part of an ancient lineage of seekers. Every person who has ever wondered why is your spiritual ancestor. Every person who has ever chosen love over fear is your teacher. In our modern world, your sangha might not be a monastery. It might be a meditation group that meets at the library. It might be an online community of seekers. It might be this very channel, Buddha Coha, where we gather weekly to explore these timeless truths. The point is, find your people. Find those who are also asking the big questions. Find those who support your journey toward awakening. Because while the path to enlightenment is ultimately walked alone, we can walk side by side, encouraging each other along the way. Part 8, The Science of Meaning, When Buddhism Meets Modern Psychology. Modern neuroscience has discovered something Buddhist monks have known for millennia: our brains can change. Every time we practice mindfulness, we're literally rewiring our neural pathways. Every act of compassion strengthens the circuits of empathy. Every moment of presence weakens the grip of anxiety. The Eightfold Path isn't just spiritual advice, it's a neuroscientific protocol for transforming your brain. Right thought creates new neural patterns. Right action builds new habits. Right mindfulness develops new awareness. You're not stuck with the brain you have. You're not trapped by your current patterns. Every moment offers the possibility of transformation. The longest study on human happiness, the Harvard Grant study, followed people for over 80 years. You know what they found was the key to a meaningful life? Relationships. Connection. Love. The Buddha knew this 2,500 years ago. That's why compassion is central to Buddhist practice. That's why we vow to save all beings. Because in saving others, we save ourselves. In loving others, we find meaning. Part 9, Death as a Friend, the Ultimate Liberation. As the Buddha lay dying, his disciples were distraught. But he was calm. His last words were, "All composite things pass away. Strive for your own liberation with diligence." Notice he didn't say, "Don't worry, you'll see me in heaven." He didn't promise eternal life. He simply stated the truth, everything passes away, and encouraged one final time, keep practicing. Even in death, he was teaching. Even his ending was a beginning, for his teachings would ripple out for thousands of years, reaching you, right now, through these words. In Tibetan Buddhism, they say death is like changing clothes. The body dies, but consciousness continues. Not necessarily as you, with your memories and personality, but as the essential awareness that was never born and can never die. Whether you believe in rebirth or not, there's something profound here. The part of you that's aware right now, the witness of your thoughts, the observer of your emotions, has it ever aged? Has it changed since you were 5 years old? That awareness, that presence, that's what some call Buddha nature. And it's beyond birth and death. So we return to our original question, why live if we all die? And perhaps now you see, the question contains its own answer. We live because we die. We love because we lose. We cherish it because nothing lasts. We find meaning not despite impermanence, but because of it. The Buddha's answer wasn't an answer at all. It was an invitation. An invitation to wake up. To be present. To live fully. To love deeply. To let go gracefully. Your life matters because you're here, right now, able to hear these words, capable of understanding, capable of choosing. You can choose fear or love, hatred or compassion, sleepwalking or awakening. The lotus flower, Buddhism's most famous symbol, grows in muddy water. It needs the mud to grow. Without the mud, no lotus. Your life, with all its suffering, all its impermanence, all its uncertainty, this is your mud. And from this mud, something beautiful can grow. Not despite the difficulties, but because of them. Every challenge is an opportunity to develop patience. Every loss is an opportunity to practice letting go. Every moment of suffering is an opportunity to develop compassion for yourself and others who suffer. If the Buddha were here right now, I think he'd say something like this. You want to know why you should live? Look around you. See the suffering in the world. See the confusion, the pain, the searching. Your life matters because you can make a difference. Even one moment of genuine kindness ripples through eternity. Even one instant of true awareness lights a candle in the darkness. You don't need to achieve enlightenment. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up. To be present. To try. To fall and get up again. To love even when it hurts. To stay soft in a world that wants to make you hard. This is your sacred assignment, to live fully before you die. To wake up while you're here. To love while you can. To serve while you have strength. To be a light, however small, in the vast darkness. Not because it will last forever, but because right now, in this moment, you can. As we close, I want to leave you with one final thought. Tonight, before you sleep, take a moment. Put your hand on your heart. Feel it beating. That heartbeat, that's your life force. It's been beating since before you were born. One day, it will stop. But right now, it beats. Right now, you're alive. Right now, you have this precious human life, rare as a turtle surfacing in a vast ocean and putting its head through a floating yolk. What will you do with this precious life? How will you spend this irreplaceable day? Who will you love? How will you serve? What kindness will you offer? What presents will you bring? The answer to, why live if we all die, isn't found in philosophy or religion. It's found in how you answer these questions. Not with words, but with your life. Not someday, but today. Not when you're ready, but now. Because now is all we ever have. Now is where life happens. Now is where love lives. Now is where awakening occurs. And now, dear friend, it is calling you home. If this message touched your heart, if these words offered you some peace or clarity, please share this video with someone who might be struggling with life's big questions. Subscribe to Buddha Coha for weekly explorations of Buddhist wisdom for modern life. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the profound teachings that have guided humanity for millennia. Leave a comment below, share your thoughts, your struggles, your insights. We're all walking this path together. And remember, every day you wake up is another opportunity to answer the question, not why live, but how to live fully, compassionately, meaningfully, before we return to the stars from which we came. Until next time, may you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. May you live with ease. This is Buddha Coha, whispering ancient wisdom for modern souls. Namaste.